Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video we are going to make a pumpkin pie chaffle. But before we do that, if you enjoy low-carb cooking videos, product and ingredient reviews, as well as lessons learned from my experiences with the ketogenic lifestyle and intermittent fasting, click that subscribe button down there. And while you're at it, click the bell next to it so you're notified anytime I release a new video. One of the more popular requests that I've gotten for chaffles lately, and it's probably due to the season, is a pumpkin chaffle, or a pumpkin pie chaffle. Now I got out on YouTube and I did a search on pumpkin pie chaffles, and there's a few out there, and generally what I found, it was just people adding a tablespoon of pumpkin puree and some pumpkin spice to a chaffle. And that doesn't taste like pumpkin pie, to me anyway. To make a chaffle that tastes like pumpkin pie, we need to make a pumpkin pie. Now, this is going to be a little bit more work up front. Not a ton, honestly, and you're opening a can of pumpkin one way or the other, so why not use it all up? Using the same hack that I use for tomato paste, which I'll post right up here, we're going to save and store our pumpkin pie filling in nice little portions that basically will allow us to do pumpkin pie chaffles on demand. So let's get to making our pumpkin pie. We'll start with one 15-ounce can of pumpkin, 2 large eggs, 2/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream, 1/2 cup of the white granular sugar of your choice, I'm using Swerve, 1/2 cup of the brown sweetener of your choice, again I'm using Swerve brown, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Use a hand mixer to combine. You may need to scrape down the edges once or twice, just to make sure that all of our seasonings are incorporated. Next, we will transfer our mixture into a 9-inch pie pan. And no, we don't have a crust here because we're not really making pumpkin pie. We're just making sure that our filling tastes like pumpkin pie. Smooth it out. And then we'll go into an oven or toaster oven preheated to 350 degrees. It's been 40 minutes. So we will remove our pie to a cooling rack and let it sit for at least an hour. Our pumpkin pie has been cooling for probably an hour and a half now. And if you're wondering why your pumpkin chaffles haven't tasted like pumpkin pie so far, just try taking a bite of that pumpkin straight out of the can and compare that to this, which tastes like pumpkin pie, and it's going to be all the difference in our chaffles. Now this next step, you don't have to do if you don't want to. If you want to make all of your pumpkin pie chaffles in bulk, or if you think you're going to be using up the entire batch within the next week or so, just throw it in a Tupperware, put it in the fridge. But if you would like to have pumpkin pie chaffles on demand, follow these next steps. We're going to spoon our pumpkin pie filling into these half-sphere molds, which are each 1 tablespoon in capacity. If you don't have one of these silicone molds, I highly recommend it. They're great for portioning out and freezing ingredients, great for making fat bombs. You're going to have enough pumpkin pie filling to make about 2 trays of these, with enough left over to make a handful of chaffles right now. But we're going to put this in the freezer. You're going to want to let these freeze for probably 4 or more hours. Overnight works as well too. Then we pop them out and bag them up. Then we'll pop them in the freezer for future use. To make our pumpkin pie chaffle batter, we're going to use the method that I've kind of started doing on a regular basis, which is combining the cheese and dry ingredients initially. So 1/4 cup of mozzarella, 1/2 tablespoon of coconut flour, 1 teaspoon of granular sweetener. I'm going with Bochasweet. Swerve is good as well. 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then we'll process this until it looks like breadcrumbs. To this, we'll add 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of our pumpkin pie mix. These were the frozen nuggets. 45 seconds in the microwave for 2 of them is just what it needs to thaw them out. A 1/2 tablespoon of sour cream, and 20 drops of liquid stevia. Then we'll process until we have a smooth batter. One last thing we're going to do to add a little extra texture to this is we're going to throw in 3 of my candied pecans, and we'll put the recipe right up there for that. We'll put these in a baggie, crush them up with a mallet, and mix them in with our batter. Add about half the batter to your waffle maker. I kind of dab around the edges here to flatten it out. This batter tends to expand and leak out, so you don't want to overfill. It's been 4 minutes, and for the most part it's done steaming. Get this off to a cooling rack. I kind of feel like this is a special occasion, so we're going to hit these chaffles with some homemade whipped cream. And now the taste test. This is what a pumpkin pie chaffle should taste like. It shouldn't taste like canned pumpkin. It should taste like pumpkin pie. And that's what this is right here. I have goosebumps. This is really, really good. And those chopped up candied pecans, they add that extra little bit of texture and flavor that is so good. These chaffles are going to be great with just about whatever sensible thing you put on it, whether that's whipped cream or cream cheese or syrup. These are really good. I'm very happy with how this turned out, if you can't tell. So it's a little bit more work on the front end because you're making the whole pie filling. But once you've done that, it's very easy to be whipping out batches of these. So give it a shot. Whip out some batches. Enjoy the pumpkin chaffle. And thanks for watching.